My name is Colin Mercer. I've been with Agility 15 years, actually, this December. I'm responsible for the supply chain globally. Titled is the Vice President Global of Integrated Supply Chain. Customers are actually starting to get measurement requirements, and literally within a few years, they're going to be facing a taxation process. They're going to be paying some sort of levy or charge based upon what sort of CO2 that they build as a result of their activity, whether it's the production part of their activity or the supply chain part of their activity. Supply chain is a significant piece of it. So I think customer is driving one part of it. I think the other side of it is that the carriers that we're actually working with, the airlines and the ocean carriers, are actually starting to think and make moves about their efficiencies. You're seeing this particularly with ocean carriers. They're actually starting to grow the size of the vessels, make better economies of scale in terms of those vessels. The whole purpose about that is lower shipping cost, but also as you lower the shipping cost, you actually evolve a better CO2 footprint because you're running one vessel for a much larger number of containers. So the scale proposition is there. So I think customers are on one side, carriers on the other. Can a customer do all the calculative work that needs to go around that evolution of the supply chain? Very few have actually got the scale and the investment and the expertise to do that. The carriers, on the other hand, are doing it strictly really from a needs-must point of view to stay in business. I think we as a freight forwarder can be a bridge very much between those two dynamics to actually help the customer through that process. I mean, you're certainly talking about mode of transport. You're certainly talking about points of storage, points of handling, points of consumption of those goods. You're certainly talking about the way that you package and you transport those goods in terms of, is it by air, is it by ocean, so mode, how much do you have to do by road, how much do you consolidate, how much empty space do you actually pack. So you've got to actually be very careful to imagine that it's just one element. It's not actually, it's very, very broad. And the core task we have is really to get some sense of understanding of how the customer runs its supply chain, number one. So it's always easier to do that evaluation once you're actually trading with the customer, you're physically carrying freight. And then two, having enough insight in terms of those movements, a sufficiently sized sample of that freight activity to be able to draw some sensible conclusions over what they're doing and how you can evolve and simplify that process, reduce the CO2. And CO2 reduction happens to align very closely with cost reduction as well in most cases.